For the last 48 years, the one thing that American Democrats and progressives have consistently lacked is a voice to represent them. The 1/3 who say they're pro-life. The ones who oppose the sold-out Biden-Harris anti-life agenda. The very ones who oppose our nation's radical abortion policies and just want sanity restored so that we as Americans can address the tough decisions that people in our nation face every single day. These 1/3 are people who want to listen, not interrupt, learn, not steamroll, and craft sound, humane public policy. Maybe even run for office themselves one day. But in 48 years, no one has raised that flag until now. My dear friend Teresa Bukovac has life experience on the issues of life. She founded Pro-Life San Francisco to be a voice for our nation's most vulnerable and defenseless human beings in a very progressive city. You might call her a missionary for life there, opening people's eyes to the truths they already knew in their hearts and helping them discover just how aligned those truths are with their progressive values. Teresa built a succession plan for San Francisco and moved ahead to her next calling, founding Progressive Anti-Abortion Uprising to spread that progressive voice for life from coast to coast. She has spoken truth to power and has learned how to harness that power to shape the course of our nation. And today, she takes the next step forward to lead us all. Teresa has been on the front lines. She will share the story of the 115 children she found discarded right here where we stand today, right here in our nation's capital. And she rescued them to at least provide them with a proper memorial. She is fighting for justice for the 5 of those children who were past the age of viability when they were brutally murdered. She named them and exposed how even the most radical of laws on abortion are routinely flouted. Teresa will share her heart for the next generation of a pro-life America, for the unborn, for our nation's most vulnerable, but even more broadly, for a holistic viewpoint of how we view life in America. Teresa is someone with a depth of love, of compassion, with a sacrificial heart, but also courageous, filled with fire, with a passion for justice, who will never back down for a fight for what's right. From the sidewalks to the steps of the Supreme Court, Teresa is bold. She is unique, unmistakable, genuine, and her message is consistent. That is what we have been missing in the Democratic Party establishment. We've been missing someone to stand for the 115, someone to stand for the 5, someone to stand for the 1/3. Teresa is stepping forward as a leading voice of the next generation of pro-life America. It's a holistic viewpoint on the issue of life. It's time to put a holistic pro-life platform back into the Democratic Party. And it's time to put a pro-life Democrat back in the White House. I give you the woman, the activist, the legend, and my president, Teresa Bukovac.
Thank you guys all so much for being here. It is an honor to be here with you all today. Right now, I am standing in front of what looks like an ordinary office building. Brick walls, reflective windows, a flat roof. What's so special about it? Well, it happens to be a 15-minute walk from the White House. But I'm sure wherever you live in America, you've seen a building like this before. Maybe you've driven past it every day on the way to work. Maybe coming home from getting groceries. Maybe you've never given it a second thought. Have you ever thought about the trash that leaves this building? You know, historians tell us that you can learn a lot about a society by its trash. Used coffee filters, a secretary's microwaved lunch, maybe once in a while, a paper shredder truck shows up. I was here on Trash Day in March of 2022 with my good friend Lauren Handy. Only the truck that showed up that day wasn't here to pick up paper. It was here to pick up bodies, human bodies. You see, this building might look pretty nice from the outside, but on the inside, on the 4th floor, it is one of the ugliest places in our nation. It is where Cesare Santangelo runs his Washington Surgery Center, where he murders preborn children into the 3rd trimester for no medical reason. This is at the point when a baby can survive outside of the womb. Bodily autonomy can be vindicated at this point by giving birth and allowing a child to live. But instead, Santangelo breaks their defenseless bodies. And he has said on camera that should a child survive his abortion attempt, they will still not leave this building alive. On Trash Day, I spoke with the truck driver, and I told him what was in those boxes. I told him that if he gave us those boxes, we would ensure that these children received a dignified burial. He agreed. On that day, the remains of 115 human beings left this building. I know because I saw them with my own eyes. And some of them I held in my hands. They were unmistakably human. We did ensure that 110 of these babies were buried, but 5 of them were not buried because 5 of them are evidence. Their bodies showed wounds consistent with violent federal crimes. For example, Harriet sustained a stab wound in the back of her skull, the hallmark of an illegal partial birth abortion method. And so, conflicted, and after some deliberation, I did something that I hate doing. I called the police. And you know what they did? Nothing. They refused to do an autopsy, they refused to do an investigation, and they put these babies' bodies into storage indefinitely. You can learn a lot about a society from its trash. You know, it occurs to me that this building is a lot like America. Too often politicians will cover up the real problems Americans are facing and instead busy themselves with trying to make everything look good from the outside. My own Democratic Party is so quick to take credit for preventing a recession. Meanwhile, millions of Americans are still working multiple jobs and struggling to make ends meet. 3/4 of abortions are caused from financial problems, not from free choice. Republicans claim to be champions of schools and education, but instead of focusing on learning lost during the pandemic, they've got all the wrong priorities. Drag queens, book censorship, sports. They're wrong. They shouldn't be doing that. And both parties are giving lip service to the middle class and claiming to stand for family values. And yet, to this day, the United States still completely lacks basic pro-family policies like paid parental leave and universal birth coverage.
Make birth free.
And then there's Dobbs. And I celebrate the overturning of Roe versus Wade. I celebrate the countless grassroots activists who brought us to this moment. And I celebrate the thousands of lives that have been saved as a result. But we cannot ignore the billionaire-funded, massive resistance being waged in blue states to deny the humanity of preborn children. We cannot ignore the lawless prosecutors, the media censors, and the Jane's Revenge fascists.
Go Red Sox!
Sticking your head in the sand and pretending like a few slanted polls means everything is not a strategy. And pretending like millions of pro-life Democrats like myself don't exist isn't a strategy either. The right to life must be protected at every age, everywhere.
Yes!
And that is why I'm running for President of the United States. I know I'm not a household name, so I'm going to introduce myself. I'm Teresa Bukovac. I am a proud pro-life progressive. And after working several Fortune 500 companies, I left the corporate world to become a full-time community activist. I am the founder of Pro-Life San Francisco and Progressive Anti-Abortion Uprising. In my years of advocacy, I have worked with people from across the political spectrum. And what I found is that we have a lot more in common than the news media would have us believe. The fact that 1 in 4 Democrats considers themselves pro-life and a majority of Democrats want abortion restricted in the 3rd trimester shows us that our political binary is not working. We're in a time of crisis. This is a time of cruelty and injustice, but this is also a time for realignment, a moment that screams out for new leadership. I am a millennial, I am a woman, and I am an atheist. And any one of those things would be a barrier, but I get to contend with all 3: ageism, sexism, and prejudice. I'm also not a millionaire. I won't be taking any money from the fossil fuel industry, and I certainly won't be taking any of Planned Parenthood's blood money. All this to say that I'm not running to win. I am running to be a voice for the voiceless. And with your support, I can expose the human rights atrocities happening in nondescript buildings like this across America. Any FCC TV station is required to run the ads of all federal candidates. And we will together expose this injustice. My opponents act as if abortion is a single issue, but that's not true. Abortion is deeply tied to some of the worst problems that we have in America. Anti-union laws cause lower wages, which causes abortion. A racist criminal justice system causes incarceration, which causes a lack of support, which causes abortion. Employers who write letters saying that they'll pay for their employees' abortions, but refuse to provide basic accommodations for pregnant people in their workplace cause abortions. Policies that fail to expand affordable housing cause houselessness, which causes abortions. We cannot address the abortion crisis in this country without a holistic, intersectional, and whole life approach. We must be guided by the principle that every single human being deserves the right to live in safe and sustainable communities. If you share that principle with me, then I invite you to join the Bukovac for President community. You can find us at bfp2024.com and across social media platforms. Join me in fighting abortion extremism wherever it may appear. And join me in fighting for the vulnerable, whether it's on the border, on death row, or in the womb. The political landscape landscape is dismal. We all know it. Somehow, the two least trusted people in the world are the front runners to lead our nation. The only way that we can course correct is to get back to the basic, fundamental human rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness for all human beings. No human being deserves to be treated like trash. And together we can build a world where no American will be. In March of 2022, I held those babies, this baby, in my hands. And our leaders, our government wants to pretend like this never happened. You will hear me, and through me, you will see them. I will not stop until these children and children like them all across the nation have justice. A better world is possible, and it starts with us. Thank you.
I'm going to be singing a song written by Teresa Bukovac. Thank you so much, Teresa. If you know it, sing along. A better world is possible, and it starts with us. We can end the suffering. We can give it up. Every generation
everybody. Happy to take some questions, you know, if you don't get shouted down. I'm also happy to take them privately, off camera, or whatever.
I have a question. Are they affiliated with you guys? Because I know, like, on your organization, you guys said that you personally don't have, like, you're an atheist, or that's what I heard. Are they associated?
They're friends. I'll take questions from the press.
Sorry, it's the public. Dude, you're doing your presidential election.
All right, great. Well, that's a wrap. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Vote Bukovac 2024. Go to the website, BFP, that stands for Bukovac for President, 2024.com. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Snapchat. Follow us on Twitter or X. And follow us on Facebook. See you soon.
You did actually say in your presentation that basically you're not running to win, you're running
Right.
to have this be a voice.
Yes.
Can you just like, sort of straight up, can you describe the tactic being kind of employed here? Like, is this an extension of your activism?
Yes, absolutely. This is a protest campaign. I'm here to disrupt the status quo in my party on this issue and to help get people on both sides of the political aisle to embrace their pro-life views more consistently. The tactic is really to create the space for pro-life Democrats for a winnable campaign in the future and to also show the victims of abortion through ads.
Are you actually going to try to pursue like ballot access in the individual
Yes,
states?
I am going, because that's how I will be able to run the ads. So I'm going to try to get on the ballot in between 5 and 10 states. But mostly I'll be raising money to run the ads in those states.
That's a lot of like petitioning and stuff like that.
It can
to
be,
get
yeah.
the
Some
access.
states it's not as hard as others, so I'm going to be targeting the states where it's easiest to get on the ballot. And you know, time will tell how successful I am at doing that. But I'm just going to take one step at a time and do my best to make a difference in this election cycle.
Are there any particular states that you're kind of targeting?
New Jersey, DC, Oklahoma, New Hampshire, and there's a handful of others.